simplest terms, grapevines need sun, nutrients, well-drained soil, proper pruning, and not very much water to thrive. However, just growing grapes is not enough to ensure a good wine or pisco. You also need a combination of factors in the environment. That is something called terroir in French. In a future lesson, Cami will talk about the ambient yeasts that form part of the terroir of our pisco. However, there are many other factors that influence the caliber and flavor of the clear brandy. So now let's take a look at the slides for more information. Terroir is best described as the complete natural environment in which a particular product is produced. There are four main elements that one should consider when thinking about terroir: climate, soil, tradition, and terrain. All of these four factors play a very intricate role in the pisco making process. For example, you could take grapes from the same plant of the same vineyard, but have them distilled into pisco by two different master distillers, and you would end up with very unique piscos. Peru's unique terrain lends itself to very diverse terroirs. For example, as you learned in Lesson 11, the highest vineyards with pisco grapes are found in the Caravelí Valley in the DO of Arequipa. Vineyards at this altitude in the Andes are endowed with rocky soils and cooler nights, very different conditions than the coast, where nights are warmer, soils are sandy, and ocean salinity could affect the grapes. When you add in more variables like distillation techniques, one can see how Peruvian pisco displays such a broad gamut of aromas and flavors. In Lesson 3, we touched on the Humboldt Current. The Humboldt Current is a cold ocean current that flows north along the western coast of South America. The current extends from southern Chile to northern Peru, bringing frigid waters from the south, cooling the ocean, and creating dry, chilled air, which changes the tropical climate. That is why the Peruvian coastline is so barren. Where a dense jungle would normally lie, sand dunes line a large portion of the coast in Peru, like you see here in the photo. This creates very favorable winemaking conditions, similar to what you might see in the high desert vineyards of Washington state. Days are hot and dry, but nights are relatively cool along the coast of Peru, creating ideal conditions for vines. Because of this fascinating phenomenon, grapes are grown in optimal conditions to produce the high-quality wine that we distill to make pisco. In Azpeitia, PiscoLogia's vineyards are located close to the Pacific Ocean, at 200 meters above sea level. This proximity, 4 miles, and altitude create a perfect storm in the evening when the ocean breeze channels through the Mala River Valley to reach our vineyards, reducing the temperature surrounding our vines. This cooling phenomenon provides us with grapes with higher acidity levels. Grapes with higher acidity create a balanced wine, the wine we distill to create PiscoLogia. Also, this breeze carries salt from the ocean that deposits in our vineyards and on our grapes. This mist is just like the natural yeasts in our vineyards in Azpeitia. They are floating in the air, forming the uniqueness that is our terroir, and adding a briny characteristic to our pisco. Just one more note before you listen to Nati speak about terroir. I would like to encourage you to train your palate to discover how different terroirs shine through in Peruvian pisco. Instead of associating quality with entire regions or large brands, we want to change the conversation and start evaluating how viticulture practices, the distiller's techniques, and terroir express themselves in the bottle. In the end, you get to decide which pisco is best for you. Now don't forget to complete the activity for Lesson 12 before moving on to the next lesson after watching Nati's video. Thank you.
Vamos a conversar un poquito de lo que es el terroir. El terroir es un término francés que proviene del latín tierra y se designa a una extensión geográfica bien delimitada y homogénea que presenta alguna particularidad llamativa en su producción agrícola. Involucra al contenido de minerales del suelo, topografía, tipo de suelo, clima y manejo humano, que se expresan en las características especiales de los productos que en ese territorio se cultivan. En el mundo existe la denominada faja del vino, ubicada entre los paralelos 30 y 50 del hemisferio norte. En ella se encuentran geográficamente ubicados California, en Estados Unidos, Portugal, España, Italia, Francia, Grecia, Alemania, Noruega, Suiza, Rumanía en Europa y parte de China y Japón en Asia Menor. En el hemisferio sur, la franja del vino está ubicada entre los paralelos 30 y 45, siendo el centro de Chile y el centro norte de Argentina, más Australia, Sudáfrica y Nueva Zelanda, los países ubicados en ella. El Perú no está ubicado dentro de esta franja. Las zonas pisqueras se encuentran entre los paralelos 12 y 18 de latitud sur. Sin embargo, posee diversidad de climas en sus diferentes regiones y es en algunos valles del centro y sur de la zona costera con clima de desierto, semidesierto y subtropicales, en los que las temperaturas e insolación son favorables para el desarrollo de las uvas pisqueras, ya que permiten la formación del azúcar que en el proceso de fermentación forma en el mosto o vino el alcohol etílico, que junto con los otros componentes, terpenos, ésteres, etc., en destilación nos da el pisco.